Yeah. What up? What up? It's Big Twins, aka the grimy one. Y'all know the Mobb Deep infamous clique. Yo, check it out, man. I want y'all to tap in to Cigar Talk Toronto, man. You know, they be putting it in, interviews and this and that. So check them out. Cigar Talk Toronto from Big Twin, y'all. You already know.
You'll get your snot box bust, your press up on this.
It's full throttle and a face off. Mexican flex, direct, spray the haze off. Cobweb, rusted weapons from LA to Texas. Any section, east to spaghetti westerns. It's a message, battle smoke compression. I keep protection, skills that ignite confection. A force to reckon with any second. Stoic, embedded, poetic or wedded. It's how you thread the needle, stitch with stilo, by the kilo. Hit you with some math too cerebral. Reload cartridges, what the carnage is. Deadly as a pharmacist, killing tarnishes. All damages, scars are permanent, like a surgeon. Superb at purging, never get a word in. Beef for sturgeon, grab a plate in person. What you gonna do when the situation worsens? I'm coming to your spot with many ways to bless. Skills way beyond your average tape cassette. Analog to your digital streams a threat. Modern times ain't shit, got bombs in the deck. I'm coming to your spot with many ways to bless. Skills way beyond your average tape cassette. Analog to your digital streams a threat. Modern times ain't shit, got bombs in the deck.
The rhyme is rugged at the same time sharp.
You'll get your snot box bust, your press up on this.
The rhyme is rugged at the same time sharp.
You'll get your snot box bust, your press up on this.
The rhyme is rugged at the same time sharp.
You'll get your snot box bust, your press up on this.
The rhyme is rugged at the same time sharp.
You'll get your snot box bust, your press up on this.
Fuck all your fake images, raise the temperature. Just like an emperor, killing with no effort, y'all. Supremacists like the king of England is sycophant, whether or not you're innocent. Hypocrites, filibust acts of warfare. Or cold stare, shots to provoke and stoke fear. Bless a song, anything I come across. Flip or toss, people softer than a piece of cloth. East New York to the bottomless pits of anywhere. If it's me, it's a real affair. Insane and psychotic, it's byproduct. Out your eye sockets, dope as fuck if I brought it. If you're skeptic, select another channel. Separate handle, it's me versus everyone on the panel. Numbers matter not, paint the spot. Expertise when I squeeze, everyone drops. I'm coming to your spot with many ways to bless. Skills way beyond your average tape cassette. Analog to your digital streams a threat. Modern times ain't shit, got bombs in the deck. I'm coming to your spot with many ways to bless. Skills way beyond your average tape cassette. Analog to your digital streams a threat. Modern times ain't shit, got bombs in the deck.
The rhyme is rugged at the same time sharp.
You'll get your snot box bust, your press up on this.
The rhyme is rugged at the same time sharp.
You'll get your snot box bust, your press up on this.
The rhyme is rugged at the same time sharp.
You'll get your snot box bust, your press up on this.
The rhyme is rugged at the same time sharp.
You'll get your snot box bust, your press up on this.
So listen to what we say.
You'll get your snot box bust, your press up on this.
So listen to what we say.
You'll get your snot box bust, your press up on this.
So listen to what we say.
You'll get your snot box bust, your press up on this.
So listen to what we say.
You'll get your snot box bust, your press up on this.
All right, welcome back. Saturday night, we are back on the block 105. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in on the block. You guys have been crazy supportive since we brought the show over here, so huge thank you to you. And with that being said, we got tonight with us producer Hardmoney.
Looking out, man. Thank you for having me. Thank the good man above for waking me up this morning. And thank you for having me on today, man. Very blessed.
Oh, man, it's a pleasure, man. And any day that we wake up and we can put our 2 feet on the ground and walk on our own, that's a blessed day.
Exactly.
And before we really get into it, I'm going to cut my cigar and light it up. And tonight I'm going to be smoking the MC Pancho Habano.
Nice.
Shout out to my guy out there in Cali, man, MC Pancho. Hit him up on Instagram at MC Pancho2, and you can get your own MC Pancho cigars. And these are the Big Boss cigars. They're the 7x70 right here.
It's yeah, I don't have I don't have a blunt with me, but I have a blunt with me. You know, so I didn't grab the cigar, but got a blunt, so we're both smoking here.
Yeah, you're halfway there with the blunt.
Exactly. You know, got the wrapper. I just forgot the inside.
That's actually what I think prepared me for smoking cigars was smoking blunts my whole life.
Yeah, I do. I smoke cigars with my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law, he's a big cigar smoker. He carries his little humidifier pack or whatever around.
Okay.
He has all his cigars in there and everything. This guy's getting top of the line cigars and all that. So I smoke with him when I'm with him. But other than that, I'm not too much of a cigar connoisseur yet. I do want to get into it though.
It's a very intriguing world, we'll call it. As I've come to experience, the cigar community is very supportive in your ventures you do. They'll get behind you, they'll support you. Um, the cigar industry in terms of owners, etc., is very cutthroat.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a very tough industry to get yourself into.
Small industry, everybody knows everybody.
That's it. And it's a big world, but it's a small world at the same time. So everybody knows everybody, and everybody knows everyone's bad habits and their little tricks
Mhm.
and shit. And that's why I like the community, man. It's very diverse, and that's part of the inspiration behind this whole podcast is bringing that cigar lounge type conversation because when you go into a cigar lounge, you never know who's going to walk in.
Right.
And you could just sit down and have a conversation with hours with somebody you've never met before, no idea anything about them, and you could just go on for hours just about your story and their story.
It's that common bond of that cigar right there.
Mhm.
Getting it up. I just have a I had an issue with inhaling. 'Cause I've smoked so many years with blunts. I've smoked for man, I don't even want to count how many, but so when I go into the cigars and I start, taking it in, I'm actually inhaling it and I'm choking on it and everything. So brother-in-law's like, oh man, you gotta like it's only half the draw, you bring it in and you taste it, and so that's my issue is that I always like to inhale that thing.
Yeah. And smoking blunts, you kind of get See, that's what I always liked about blunts was you get that harsh hit.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? But when you actually inhale a cigar, you're not prepared for that harsh hit that it gives you.
It's funny. I live out here in Cali, so roll up blunts, and a lot of people out here they smoke blunts, but then they smoke joints. And whenever I'm with somebody and they got a joint, I'm kind of like, okay, all right, let's go. Because I'm more of just every day, every time I smoke, it's got to be a blunt because, like you said, I like that cut, that taste
Yeah.
that it comes with.
There's Escobar cigars, they actually make pre-cut blunt wraps. And they come five in a pack. They're pre-cut. There's no big veins or anything in it like that. So it's easy to roll them up. One thing that I always hated, like backwoods with those big veins and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And it just made it super convenient.
Yeah, like I remember back in the days, we used to go get Garcia Vegas and leaf them, like take the green leaf off the top, cut down the brown leaf, roll it all up, and then put the green leaf back on the back sides, and you get that really good taste from that Garcia Vega.
Yeah, it's I that's one thing I always hate. I hated smoking with papers. It always had to be a blunt. And actually, since I started smoking cigars, I stopped smoking weed.
Oh wow.
And it's something I never imagined that I was gonna do.
Yeah.
I just smoking cigars kind of changed my life a little bit. I found a little bit more peace and relaxation, and I found that this hits you and it gives you a different high. You know what I mean? Like you're not getting high, but it gives you a different it brings you to a certain realm of relaxation that nothing else can give you. So
Right. Like that the little head rush that it gives you, you know. Just
you gotta be, yeah, you gotta be careful with that though, because um cigar sickness is a real thing. You get that rush of nicotine.
oh yeah.
It happened to me last night actually. I smoked a cigar and it's the same cigar every time when I smoke it, it gets me sick, but I still smoke it because I like it. But that's
I
why we
can't
keep,
stop.
yeah, that's why we keep those jelly beans up there, because when you get that rush of nicotine, you gotta bring your sugars up a little bit. So we keep the jelly beans there just in case.
There you go. Like that. That my
So
that
so producing, what got you into producing?
Yeah, it was years ago. I was DJing first, of course, the component set, a turntable on the bottom and controlling the volume and cutting on the little component table. And then I got some tables, I got some 1200s and a new mark and really started getting into DJ. But I wanted to uh, take it to the next level and get into creating. So started putting little tapes together. And it it was going, but it wasn't. My DJing got me a little bit further. So I jumped in, I was DJing, I was doing that for a lot of years. And then I mean I was still producing, don't get me wrong. I have a record label that I started back in like 94, 90s. I was
Okay.
something called Interpol Records and my man Mark Seven, Cram Nevis was my artist on that label. And I produced that whole album. And I was producing back with Total Track Productions, Quick People, DJ Quick's People, back in like 82. I'm in the studio, I mean, in 92, in the studio with Tracy and Courtney and all that. It might have been earlier than that. It might have been like 90 or something. And so I was always dibble dabbling in the production side, but the DJing side got me through more doors, got me touching more people out there. And then so turned around and started getting into groups. I got in a group, Chico and Cool Water,
All right.
and their hit song at the time, You Make My High Come Down with Nate Dogg. And that song was #1 on the West Coast for, man, I don't know how, I mean, it's a classic out here. It's a super, super classic. And so I was doing that. I was DJing for them. And we was doing, a few shows, tours, all that stuff and everything. And then I hooked up with a group called Filthy Immigrants.
Okay.
And Filthy Immigrants, Filthy is an acronym. Well, I'm Puerto Rican, my man's Puerto Rican, my other man's Cuban and Mexican. My other man was like Dutch and Native American. I mean, he's Native American, German, and a bunch of other stuff all mixed together. So we call ourselves the Filthy Immigrants. From man, Filthy was the lead rapper, and his name was an acronym. It stood for we had two E's instead of a Y at the end of Filthy, and it stood for forever love, thinking highest eternal existence, God, and then immigrants. So we was doing shows and everything, and it was really popular in the LA underground, and I was DJing for them also. And we used to go to we used to go to clubs back in the days that were, there's Rod Stewart or Hugh Hefner and the Triplets over there, or there's the LA Rams over there. You're in Hollywood, you go to these super clubs.
Yeah.
So we're in this club one day and he meets Tilo, this rapper named Tilo. And so he's serving him up. He served weed at the time and he's serving him up, whatever. And Tilo came over one day. He was like, "Hey man, what who do you rap for?" He said, "Oh, I got a group called Methods of Mayhem." And Tommy Lee put it together, Motley Crue.
Okay.
And my man Filthy was like, man, don't you ever come back over here buying anything from me unless you bring Tommy with you. Literally. So fast forward a couple of weeks later, we get a call, yo, we're coming through. Now, my man Filthy lives in the hood in LA. He just lives abroad now, but back in the days he lived in Playboy Hood.
Yeah.
So here they come rolling down the block. You want Tommy, jump out the car. Walking through Playboy Hood up into the apartment. We're just like, what the, so Filthy was like, all right, we're gonna do our show for you. So Tommy was like, yeah, let's do it. So we sat him down on the couch, opted in the music, and we had an instant replay, and just boom, we literally did the show for him right there in the room, in the living room. And he was like, man, I'm doing this album right now. It's got Snoop Dogg, it's got Chemical Brothers, Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit, Lil Kim's on the album, George Clinton. I got one song left. I'd love for you guys to do that song with us. So we jumped on that album, did Methods of Mayhem album, the song number 6, Proposition Fuck You. That was our song with Tommy.
I gotta check
And
that album out. I've never even heard of it.
yeah, it's a hip hop rock.
Oh, okay. Collaboration type thing.
Yeah. Well, it has the back feel of rock, but hip hop style of beats.
Oh, okay,
So,
okay.
so it was a pretty dope album at the time, And then so came out, album was doing really well. One day we get a call and he's like, hey man, we're out here at Burbank in this what is it, where they store the airplanes out there and everything?
In the hangars.
In the hangars, yeah. It's like, we're in the hangar out here in Burbank Airport. Why don't you come out here? We're doing a rehearsal for our tour. We're like, all right. And we get out there and all of the execs from the record label were there. And they're in bleachers on one side of the hangar. And whole stage is set up on the other side. And Tommy is in there performing his show for all the execs and their families and friends, whatever. And we walk in and he's like, hey, Filthy Evergrid on the mic. Filthy Evergrid, get up here, do your song with us. So we get up there, do the song. The execs call Tommy over. And like literally they're going on tour like in the next week or some shit. They call him over and they're like, hey, what's up with them? What's up? They're basically like, we don't have a budget to add them, but we would like to have them on the tour if they want to be on the tour. Tommy came back to us, was like, can you guys get a van? Can you guys, facilitate your way on this tour? And we were like, what? So we went and got a 16-passenger van and jumped in the van where we had a record label. We didn't even have the records at that time. Did we? I don't think we even had the records at that time. At that time, we just had T-shirts. So we got a grip of T-shirts made. We already have merch. We have been doing merch at all our shows. This is like in 2000. We were doing merch at all our shows already. We had shirts and, hoodies, beanies. And then, so we took all the merch and boom, hit the road. And we got to Arizona, we just followed the tour buses. And they gave us the tour guide or whatever. We map quested that shit. And
Map
wrote it all
quest.
down. Hey, this is 2000, bro. There
Yeah.
ain't no, Google Maps and all that shit. You had the map question. We had a. I still got my notes from it because I did a lot of the driving on it. So I still got my notes, and I think I got the atlas from that tour somewhere. It's got all kind of crazy shit on it and everything. And so we just city to city, and the t-shirts and merch would pay for the gas, and sometimes we slept in the van, sometimes we go in the cities, get a hotel room, whatever. But mainly these were you pull in, do the show, and get out because it was one city after the next, and it was
Yeah.
2 months. It was a 60-city tour. We had 2 months to do 60 cities, so you like hitting it every fucking night. So you're sleeping in the van. You're just driving from place to place, and it's from here to New York, and back, and everywhere in between. Stops everywhere in between 60 cities. And that was our first big tour that we did, and I was a DJ for that crew.
Okay.
And so, and we didn't even have the deal yet or nothing. That when we came back, that's when that label offered us a deal, just a press deal. And so they pressed it up. They didn't even it wasn't even a distribution. It was just like a press deal to see what we could do with it. So we used that tour. We did that, and then we bounced off of that and started doing a bunch of. Oh no, the next tour, I remember we hit a Mac 10, and Mac 10 was like going on tour with ICP,
Okay. Yeah.
and Mac 10 was like, we hit a Mac 10. We were like, hey, how much of your time? We got 30 minutes up. Let's get 10 minutes. He was like, 8. I think he hit us up for like 10 G's or some shit.
Okay.
And so we gave him that. Same thing, jumped in a van, got the homies, 8 people in a 16 passenger. Boom, take off. We hit Connecticut, the first show, and Mac 10 goes back. He starts talking to Billy, ICP's manager at the time, road manager. And Billy's like, I don't know these cats, man. Fuck them. And so ICP came back. Oh, no, Filthy went over there. They talked and everything. And then came back and was like, all right, they said, watch the show tonight because their crowd gets kind of rowdy. See if we can, we feel that we could do this shit because they boo off everybody. Everybody that comes through, all these big rappers, I'm not going to say no names that they said at the time, but they're like, all these big names come through. They all get booed off. So we don't know if you can, that's the problem. But we was like, whatever. So we watched the show. We was like, man, hey, let's, went to the next show. This is in Jersey. Got up there, and man, by the time we getting off the stage, they're like, Filthy Immigrants, Filthy Immigrants. They going night because we had like that kind of that album had that kind of rock influence. It was
Okay.
hip
Yeah.
hop.
Yeah.
It was hip hop. Don't get me wrong. Man, we had some dope straight hip hop underground songs, but we had a few songs in there that was straight rock influence and big sounds because we had just did this album with Tommy. So
Yeah.
we just sat in these studios with these big producers, and we saw how, my man Rip saw how to make that sound big. And so I remember we went to Maverick Studios, Madonna Studio. We took 13 months to put that album together. 13 months. We brought in cellists. We brought in all kind of live um, instruments and everything for that album. All the musicians were there within the studio playing live music. And we put that album out and toured off of that album. And Universal would just press us up copies, and we'd take those copies and go tour,
and sell them out. Sell them out every tour. We did at least 4 or 5 tours all across the nation with that same album, and would sell out every night and CDs and merch and everything. And but then we were coming back from one of the tours, and they got to arguing, and next thing you know, we ended the group. We broke up, and
It, it happens, unfortunately. It's
yeah,
hard to, in any industry, maintain something that's more than one.
yeah, yeah. It was tough, man. We were right in the middle of a tour. We're coming from Vegas to LA, and this is another 60 city tour. ICP invited us on. We from that one ICP tour. I think we did like 3 other ICP tours and the Gathering. They loved us. We had a big follow. We recorded with them. We been to their big studio and warehouse in Detroit. We sat up with Violent J and his wife, just Violent J, his wife, and our group went to his house and did Thanksgiving dinner.
Okay.
Like that we got real tight with them.
And that must have been a tough fan base to, like you're saying, they boo everybody off stage. So to acquire their fan base, because they're what do they call them? Juggalos?
They're juggalos, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're diehard ICP fans. So I mean, you must have been doing something right. Especially that name, Filthy Immigrants. It's catchy.
Well, I'll tell you this, everybody within the group, everyone, we all had the same vision, we all had the same feel, we all had the same energy, and it was all positive energy. And it was very inclusive energy.
Yeah,
So um there's a lot of people, like when we get off stage, we go right to the merch booth. We're selling the merch. We're standing there talking to them the whole night. Most of the rappers would stay backstage and have their boys and everything work the money and work all that and everything. And they don't come out to they may come out and get a girl and go back, or
yeah,
something like that, but they're not interacting with the people every single show. We were right there with the people every single night, from here to Worcester, Mass to everywhere. We were right there with the people every night. And that's why they loved us. And we were very embracive of them, and they were embracive of us. We looked at, see, we had just got off the Tommy Lee tour.
yeah,
So we saw these crazy rock fans. Those are another level fans.
mm,
Hip hop ain't got, man, come on. Everybody's out there with their arms folded looking at the stage because their cousin rapped. And they're like, man, everybody got an opinion.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, man, you go to a rock show, everybody's there having a good time. Everybody's, it's just positive energy all night. They run up to us, man, can you get us backstage? Tommy signed my arm back in '87 and I tattooed it. And I wanted to see. Yeah, I got super stories over that, but we get into that another time. But yeah, man, it was, we had just got off of that Tommy tour, so we saw the what positive energy. Mind you, we in LA doing we doing shows all over LA, all over San Diego, LA. Las Vegas. When we were in LA before we started doing tours, we were all over. We were
yeah,
all over the whole area. So we were street people, we were Beverly Hills people, we with all that. But the crowd was a different feel than when you get out into Kansas
yeah, yeah,
or Nebraska or Iowa, where they appreciate you like everything when you come through, because they don't get it like that.
yeah,
you know. So, and that's the basis of the Juggalos, the Tennessees and Kentuckys and the Indianas and the Ohio's and all that, man. It was middle America. And back then it was George Bush was in office and we were on stage and we were a political group also. We had songs like Push of a Button. We had all this stuff that was super political at the time. And we were up on stage, fuck George Bush, fuck Bush, say fuck George Bush, fuck Bush, all that. Like, we were just crazy nuts like that. And they were just feeling our energy and loving it. So that's why we got that Juggalo crowd when people couldn't get that because we were very energetic, positive, embracive, and on
Yeah,
their level. We were on their level. You know, they're the real America.
yeah,
Everybody else is, faking the funk and going to buy the Benz but living with moms and all that, just to have the look and everything. They're the real people. When man, we're in Minnesota. We back in the back in the RV, and they come up, hey, the family's out there. And mind you, we're on MySpace tough back and forth with all the juggalos too, you know. And so we knew this family, and they were like, yeah, when you come, we're gonna make you dinner. So we got there, hey, this family, so all right, bring them back. So the mom comes back with the son and everything. Now the son's a fan. The mom is just there. He's like, yeah, my son loves you guys. And I heard the album is so positive, blah, blah, blah. We made you dinner. So we're sitting there eating the dinner and she get to talking and all that. Next thing you know, she's telling us how they're homeless.
oh shit,
You just cooked us dinner.
yeah,
Yeah, we went over our family, made it, and brought it over. We don't have a place to stay. That was real America.
yeah.
That was the real fans. Those are real fans. Those are real people, you know. And that's how we were. We connected with real people.
Do you think that going on that tour with Tommy Lee and experiencing that whole other side of the spectrum in terms of how to interact with your fan base, um, had you not have done that, would you have still taken those same habits into your music venture, or do you think that that was like an eye-opening experience and it taught you something that not a lot of people have the foresight to see in terms of interaction with their fans and fan base? Like you're saying, every show you're out there with the fans talking to them. You don't get that too often with anybody, really.
Well, to tell you the truth, Tommy wasn't out there with the fans every night. Crazy Town wasn't out there with the fans every night. Or yeah, kind of Crazy Town was. Yeah, let me take that back. Seth and they were out there um with the fans, but no, Tommy was that. We naturally did that.
Okay.
Filthy Immigrants. We were one. My man Filthy's, marketing, and he's a selling genius, and he's a connector. He connects with people very well. So so it was just part of who we were. That's why we already had the merch. We already had all. We did that every day. We naturally did. We did the Dr. Greetham show way back when, the very first one at the House of Blues. We were one of the open acts. Okay. The House of Blues came to us and said, hey, we would like you to be our little hip hop band. When groups come through, they don't have opening acts, we'll call you and you come through and you open for them. We did the House of Blues like 13, 14 times. we opened for groups like, you know, the Roots and Black Eyed Peas and Wu Tang,
Okay.
Busta Rhymes, and everybody that was coming through. Everybody, Big Pun, everybody that was coming through because we were the little house hip hop band,
Yeah.
you know, and it was just from us. So that's how we started doing merch and getting deep like that because we were doing real shows back then. Or this is before the Tommy stuff. This was the Dr. Greed film was the second show the Filthy Immigrants ever did. The first one was some little club lingerie down on Sunset that we just did a little show real quick. But then after that, this very second show was House of Blues.
Yeah.
And from there, we were, man, we were doing it like that. We were the LA underground group that was all through doing everything, all the lowrider shows, everything. Plus, Sindog was kind of like managing us at the time and everything.
Okay. Okay.
We you know, Cypress family, all that. So it was we had our little motion already going. So no, I think that even if we didn't see the Tommy thing, we would still been the same way with the Juggalos because we saw us in them.
Okay.
A lot of people don't. A lot of people try to act like they're above something, but none of us were above anything. When we got out there, we respected how real their fan base was. They just weird. They had the face that okay, whatever, that's their thing. You think that's weird, but that's their thing.
Yeah.
So we didn't look at that like, oh man, they weird, they this, they that. No, we just came on tour with Motley Crue fans. You fucking kidding me? You know, you talking about crazy. So no, we just saw that as real. They're real
Yeah.
fans. They're real. They would put everything down for their group. You know, as a fan, people wouldn't do that for not like that, but you know, you got to be super level for people to be. You got to be Snoop level or something for people to feel like that. You know,
Yeah.
the average rapper don't get that, and everybody that was down with them ICP groups, all the Twisted and um and Esham and Blaze and all the groups that were running with them back then, Anybody Killer, they all got that treatment. All of them, up and down. Like they were just the super duper superstars.
It's like one big extended family.
Yeah. You know? And so that's the reason that we had a good foundation built, being able to work with different groups out there, work with go on different tours out there, all that, because we were very abrasive of everything, you know. And mind you, he's Mexican, he's Puerto Rican, I'm Puerto Rican, he's Cuban. You know, it's like we got all these, so we're inclusive as it goes,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. And so that was the the really art of that group. But things implode. We ended up breaking up. Me and the lead rapper did a couple of things after that together, but that all kind of fell apart. And then I stepped away from music altogether. Like no, Louis. Uh, I was producing at that time. Okay, don't get me wrong, because well, this was during the touring time. Yeah, yeah, I can say I stepped away because during the touring time, I was producing as I was DJing because I was on this little thing called Rock Battle. It was by Rockweiler. It was a website where producers all over the world would put up beats and battle each other.
Okay.
And there were big names on there on that website and everything. And for many years, for like at least 2 years, I was number one on that website. And these are producers all around the world. And now, were there producers better than me? Yeah. I was number one because I was super active on there. I was super, uh, like talkative and, would be in forums and all that shit. Everybody knew me. So um, that's how I became number one. I'm gonna put that out there. I wasn't the best one on that website. Don't get me wrong, like that. But I had some dope beats. Don't get me wrong, but I wasn't the best one. Murder Beats was on that website. Young Fire was on that website. There was some big producers that went on to do some big things after that. That were on that website. So, but I was number one on there for 2 years. So I had some pretty hot beats at that time, but I got so soured after the group broke up that I stepped away and I got into finance. And I was
Okay.
doing more home loans and all of this. And, I started making my money in that. And but um I went to a serious situation at one point and I had to step away. And when I stepped away, I needed something to find myself with, something to put my mind to and to rebuild myself with. And I started making music at that time, and it was just like the best music I had ever made because it, at that point I had stepped away and I made a life with finance. So I didn't need the music.
Yeah.
I was just doing it. Before I was doing it like it was a job.
Okay.
And I was stressed if I couldn't get something, or I'd stress about this, or I'd stress, and it would just, and my music kind of was reflective of it. It was rushed, and it just wasn't as polished. When I had the point where I could sit down and have the time and just put together some music without the rush of it, and just, hey, if I do it, I do it. I don't, I don't. It was the best shit ever. And from that point, when I just literally, I took at least a year to just build up my library. Just sit there every day and just put together beats, just fail on this one, succeed on that one, whatever, but just build up this super big library of stuff. And I have beats from before, don't get me wrong, but that's why I can't, because my name before was D-Tech. It was DTECT. It was my graph name. I was doing, a little pencil shit in high school and graph shit in high school. I wasn't doing no big pieces and shit. I was just, tagging names and all that. And my name was D-Tech, D apostrophe T-E-C-T. And then but that I made it my DJ name. So that was where I got D-Tech from. And then when I came back to music, I didn't want anybody to prejudge me. I wanted everything that I did to be fresh because when I came back and was doing music, it was just so different.
Yeah.
It was just so fresh that I was like, it doesn't sound like me, and I don't want it to be. I don't want people to sit back and see that name and be like, hey. So that's when I started thinking of names. And the reason it was Hard Money is, one, it's a play on the word harmony. And two, it was the way the money came for me in this industry. It never came in easy.
Yeah.
It was always hard. It was always hard to make money. Everybody on the front and be, oh, I got this and I got that, and it's easy, da, da. And the money came hard for me in this shit. I made money quicker in finance than I did in music. you know, because it's a whole different beast, music, you know. You gotta have the whole complete picture, the whole complete everything with music. You just doing beats, it's hard to make money. So that's why I'm pretty content on my backside where where I can do all my music without having to worry about money.
Yeah, yeah. You
I
you
got that.
essentially reinvented yourself, and you put yourself in a again, like sometimes that's how you again produce the best product is when you don't need it. So it's more of a passion before over anything.
Exactly. Exactly. It's it's just it's an extension of me. I'm showing you a part of me. I'm showing you how I feel and how I think.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about music. When I'm putting a song out there, when people hear it and they're like, "Oh, that's different. You got a different sound. You got different stuff." Um, um, it's an extension of when I'm putting together the music. I want you to hear like when they say, "Man, what is that?" or "The way you did that." Just the way I'm hearing it, the way that I think. You know, if I'm driving down the street, it's funny. Me and my boys, we used to come home after school, and we'd be in high school or whatever. We come to my house. We would turn on cartoons. Babies would be like Droopy, Screw Squirrel, shit like that. The crazy ones. Woody Woodpecker, all that crazy one. We turn on cartoons, and then we would go and turn down the volume and turn on some music. There's always got to be some hip hop, because it was we always used to have to have the backbone beat to all that shit. So we turn down the and then we turn on and we would sit there and we would watch them do actions to the beat. Somebody would walk over and open the door or walk over and hit somebody, doom, 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 bam. And the beat would do, 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 and we were all three of us. Now, mind you, we smoked before this.
Yeah, yeah.
We all high as fuck. So we all sitting there, all three of us would all see it at the same time because we don't communicate it. We just all would bust up laughing off of the same shit at the same time. We would all, mind you, this was me and my boy Lamb, my boy Chris. We that was who I started doing music with. This was the beginnings of we're the ones that were DJs. We would do pause. We would we would record a mixes and Walk and Joe Cooley and Tony G and all that. They would have these crazy ass mixes every day or Saturday. I think it was Friday night or and then we would record that shit. And then we would sit there all and all the next morning and we would make pause mixes of their mixes. So it would be like we'd make it would change up the entire scratch. And sometimes the beat behind it wouldn't match up the right way or whatever, but we knew when we would listen to it, if you listen to it, you'd be like, man, the beat's all skipping. We're listening to the scratch. We already know what each other is doing. So we're listening to it. We're like, damn, listen how you did, listen what you. So I came from that. Then my first favorite producer, Mantronic. Go listen to Code Getting Dumb. Code Getting Dumb too. If you want to know where I think and how I think. My my next favorite producer at that time said G, Ultramatic.
Okay.
Go listen to Critical Beatdown if you want to know why I think the way I think. And my my other producers, Bomb Squad. People ask me, "Damn man, you layer so well. You know how to layer your beats." And I grew up on Bomb Squad. Go listen to any Bomb Squad, PE, or when Ice Cube did a cut with them, whatever. Go listen to any of that shit, and you hear super layering that the Bomb Squad did. You know, if you're a producer. So those were the beginnings, and that's how I got. It comes from the school, lining up things, lining up little sounds, lining up little this, lining up little that with that, and then hearing music for that one little sound. When people hear a loop, they're like, "Damn, that loop is dope." 8 loops. If you listen to my music, I rarely do loops. I create loops. You
Okay.
know, I'm not gonna sit up and go grab the dopest loop, loop it, and then, put a few little things on top and that's my shit. I'll go get that horn. If I usually start with a sample, but what do? I'll slow it down, I'll do some crazy shit to it that it doesn't sound like the sample anymore. And then I'm not going to get that dope sample because everybody's getting that.
Yeah.
I'm getting this crazy other little, and I'm looping that and I'm putting the dope beat behind that. And then I'm layering some chords over that, whether it's some guitar chords or some piano chords. I'm layering some chords in there to give it some depth. I'm layering a little sound in there. I'm layering a little horn in there, giving it some little variations, throwing it on that side and on that side, panning it so it's coming at you at all angles and everything. This comes from one, coming from an era before hip hop. I remember when there was no hip hop. So I listen to music.
Yeah, yeah.
I listen to Quincy Jones, the way if you ever go back and listen to any Michael Jackson album, the way he layers it, the way rock groups. My favorite groups back in the days, Led Zeppelin,
Oh, okay.
Van Halen, you know, like Eddie on the guitar. That's what I grew up on. So that's why I hear things different than these average producers nowadays. Because I remember the thing that brought, mind you, I'm Puerto Rican. I got family in New York. I knew about hip hop and everything. My cousins, hey man, I'm coming out there and they're playing me this. But Van Halen got the new album. Like
Yeah.
I'm still into some rock shit. I remember what got me into hip hop. One night I'm sitting up, and you could only get hip hop back in the days. Video, it was very rarely played on MTV when MTV first came out. So where I started my hip hop, I'm watching Night Flight. If you remember that show one night,
That show,
got
I don't know.
it was like somebody's gonna watch this interview and they're gonna be like, oh shit, this guy's taking it back. Night Flight was like this, it was like WGN Chicago or some shit. It was like on one of these other stations, cable. And it used to come on at like 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning for me. I don't know where it was on that. And they would be playing just these crazy at that time videos for rock, new wave, whatever. That time. One night, I'm listening, and and mind you, what always drew me to rock were the drums.
Okay.
I wasn't a guitar head. I was a drum head. Loved Alex more than Eddie in Van Halen. You know, Alex crazy on the drums, the double kicks and all that. The fucking Rush's drummer, like I was a drummer head. Loved drummers. And so one night I'm watching that night flight and I hear boom, 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 boom. And I was like, oh, like, and then I like, oh, and here come Ron just dropping in. I was like, is this? And I'm running over to the fucking VCR thing to go tape it and shit, because I'll tape all my videos, take it off pause, and record it and shit. And I missed the very beginning of it. I was all pissed. Just like, Lord, because they brought in a rock and they brought in but the drums are harder than any. They were the drums, you know, they were
Yeah.
the Billy Squire, you know, the beat and stroke and all that. Like they were the Billy Squire drums. I was like, this is killing it. What the fuck? And that's when I just was like, I gotta know everything about this. And from that point on, totally don't even know you rock anymore. It was just straight hip hop from that point on.
Yeah.
And went back and got the earlier Run DMC shit, went back and got all earlier this, went to my cousins. They were like, man, shut the fuck up. We've been talking. I'm just like, oh man, just give it to me, you know. So, and from that point on, it was on, you know.
I got a couple questions for you regarding smoking weed and involvement in production and stuff like that. But we're actually about to cut off on the block now. That hour flew by. So make sure everybody that's listening, head over to Instagram, follow at Watch Hard Money, give them a follow, show some love and support. While you're there, head over to my page at Cigar Talk _ Toronto. And for the remainder of this episode, you can catch it tomorrow on YouTube as well. Head over to YouTube and follow, subscribe, share at Cigar Talk _ Toronto on YouTube. And with that being said, we appreciate your time on the block. And
Cheers. Thank you guys for tuning in. Cheers to everyone.
and Lefty Pacino and DJ Mikey G are going to take us out of here with our theme song, Cigar Talk. And make sure every Friday, 9 a.m., the Wake Up Show, DJ Mikey G on the block 105. And with that, we're out. Peace. Smoking weed. And you know, I'm somebody, I listen to a lot of electronic music too. And something that I've always found smoking weed, you hear a lot more to the beat than when you're not high. So do you think that when you sit back and you smoke, it makes you, number one, more creative as a producer, and two, as a listener, you're able to actually hear, like you say, the layering in a beat as opposed to when you're sober?
Definitely, I would say smoking has a lot to do. You know, being able to be at that next level it does open up a lot of different doors that you might have closed if you're sober. I can't even speak on the sober side because I don't think I've ever, well, can't say that. Maybe way, way back, but recently I never done a beat sober. So can't even speak to, the side of how I act upon because that's my go-to every time I'm doing a beat is first thing, light up,
Yeah.
you know, more than even drinking. Even drinking is kind of second there. First is light up every day.
Have you ever tried microdosing with mushrooms?
Definitely. Like back in high school, I did acid. Like, that's why I'm so I can think a little bit deeper than the next person. I've been on some acid trips. I still remember one of the big, super big acid trips I took back in high school. I could tell you all kind of stuff about it. I wrote it down, and when I got home one night, I wrote it down on paper. Yeah, my sister came back the next day and gave me the paper. I wrote like this on the paper, all the way down to, but like literally on this line, like so. But it's the way it looks is so crazy. And I was doing it the night that I was. It was when I came home that night, and I had to just write down everything because I didn't know if I'd remember it or not. And, still do. I still remember most of the stuff. I
And
didn't
you
know if
wrote
I
it in a
will.
sequence of a square that keeps.
Getting smaller and smaller down. And literally at the smallest level, you can see these little small. My sister was like, "How the fuck did you write that small?" I was like, "I don't even remember writing this. I don't even remember doing that."
That would
But
be that would be a dope cover for a track or an album.
yep. I mean, the lyrics of the song
Yeah.
or all of the different titles or all of the credits on the back of an album, all of the
No, that would be something very unique and original.
yep, yep. I'll tell you that night we were sitting up at school. We had took some our Simpsons and we're sitting there in my living room. It's my boy Len, me, Len and Chris. And he was like, we were like, "Hey, we don't feel anything." So my boy Leonard, we turn out the lights, we turn on Pink Floyd,
Oh,
the
okay.
wall. We had Pink Floyd, the wall going. And we're sitting up listening to that shit. You got these three black kids in high school listening to Pink Floyd, the wall. Yeah. But we were on some different shit. And there was this point in the album where it breaks down. They had, I don't know if we were imagining or what, because I've never gone back and listened to that. But there was like a baby. It was like a little skit that was going on. It was like this little baby crying, and it was like kind of all this crazy stuff that's happening. We're all looking at each other. My boy Leonard picked up this flashlight that my dad had on the table, glow in the dark ring around, and he started doing like this, and it did trails, and it was just one big circle, the glow in the dark, and that's when we were like, okay, we're hitting, we're going. Now. Yeah. And so that was how it started, man. That night was it was a wild night. But yeah, that was doing acid in high school. And then we used to do shrooms back then. Cool.
Do you still indulge in the mushrooms from time to time?
Last time I did was about a year ago. The
And
dub.
I'm asking for a reason because I noticed you were on, what is it, Gemwork Radio?
Yeah.
And what's her name? Wu Chick loves to do the mushrooms.
Okay.
And
Okay.
she was telling me that she loves to get artists that come on the show on mushrooms and interview them that way.
Man, that would go a different way for me. Yeah, I'll tell you right now, because the last time I did them, okay, I'm here at the house with my wifey, and my wifey's upstairs. We're gonna be here all day. I was like, okay, I'm gonna drop it. Mind you, I'm grinding up my food process, put it into a tea, and so, but I was like doing a microdosing. I was taking bits of the tea and trying to, feel it out. And I knew it gave a little bit, didn't feel anything. Remember from back in the days, that I gave it like 45 minutes. I was like, a little bit more, feel anything. Man, that third one, put it in, and like just started seeing all kind of crazy shit. And I'm looking around at everything. Mind you, it was like illustrations.
Yeah.
I was seeing illustrations. It was stars. It was like a background graffiti type shit being on, and I just can't. And so I go into the back and they're looking at the wall, and it's hitting the wall, and just melting. The whole thing is melting, and the bar is melting. I'm like, holy shit. The second that the second and third one look too close together. Didn't give it that 45 minutes or so. So when I hit that third one, I could have been cool off that second. Get up and hit that third one. When I hit that, it was just like that was it. And so started closing my eyes, and it was worse. It was worse. And so went over, and I can't even walk because it's all in my vision. It's all I see, my fucking vision. So I come out of the bathroom, walk over, and I know exactly where the sink is. And I'm trying to like act cool as fuck. As she had already told me, don't do it. And I was like, man, I know what I'm doing, man. So I walk over, I wash my hands in the sink, walk around to my side, kind of feel my way to where my side of the bed is, and jump in the bed. Sitting there looking, and the whole everything is just all this background graffiti shit everywhere. And I can't see anything. And told her I laid down, closed my eyes, and I put the covers over my head. And I was just like, hey, I'm gonna lay here for a second. She was like, what's wrong? What are you doing? This and that. And I got up and I looked at her. I said, I'm not here for about in the next 2 hours. I literally told her, I'm not here for the next 2 hours. Don't fuck with me. I'm not here. and I turned around and knocked out. And she knew what was up, and she's like laughing inside. And so when I got up about 3 hours, 4 hours later, I got up, and she's like laughing at me. And she goes, "I'm not here for 2 hours." She's like, put it in my face. "I'm not here for 2 hours." Like, man, shut up, man. So yeah, the last time didn't go too well, but and I think it was because I did the tea, and I think I just put too much in there because I
You
didn't know
made
how it
that,
was gonna be.
yeah, you made that almost amateurish mistake of taking too much because it wasn't kicking in.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's happened to me a few times where it takes way longer than it should to kick in. So you start eating more, and next thing you know, like it just fucking hits you at once. And like all you can do is it's like being on a roller coaster. You got to just strap in and enjoy the ride, man.
But it's the craziest ride because it just everything you're looking at, everything would just turn inside out and start.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the craziest feel. And mind you, like before, it wouldn't, like when I would do it back with my boys back in the day. See, because this is the first time that I've done it 10 years, maybe 15 years, something, like that. And I just grabbed a bunch. I had one of these little shroom delivery guys come through and drop me some. So I grabbed a bunch off of him. And so I put that all in the tea, grounded it all up, just thinking, okay, it's not going to hit me like that. I remember how it was, blah, blah. No, it hit me so, yeah. So I haven't done it since. I'll jump back into it since.
That's something that I always learned was if you want it to affect you um in a more intense way, you put it in something hot like a tea or a hot chocolate or a coffee because the way it hits you is way
Hmm.
different than if you chew on it. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you a story. The first time I ever did mushrooms, uh, I was chilling with some people, and one of the guys had this old school, what's it called? Nintendo Virtual Boy. So we all were eating the mushrooms, and the Virtual Boy is that fucking old school 3D thing, and you got the controller, and your eyes are in it. And the mushrooms just kicked in as I was playing this Virtual Boy, and I couldn't handle the trip. So I left, and I was about an hour walk away from my place. And as I'm walking, all I could see was like this old school bootleg 3D like fucking car racing simulation, and there's pennies raining from the sky. And you know what? I was a young teenager, and I'm walking up the road, and then all I hear is a horn honk, and I look, and it was my dad. And he's like, "Get in the car, I'll give you a ride home." And I'm just like, "No." He's like, "What do you mean, no? Get in the car." I'm like, "No." It was such a fucked up experience.
Oh my God, that's how it would be with me and my dad. I'd be like, "Nah, I forget. No, I'm not doing that one. No." Oh man. So how was the come down off of that?
It I ended up getting in the car, and he's driving home, trying to talk to me, and I was looking out of the windshield, and I could still see it was raining pennies. So everything he would say to me, I didn't respond back. I was just like, "Zip it." And he's talking. He's like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just not feeling well. I think I just need some sleep." And meanwhile, like I'm stuck in the seat, and I'm just like, my eyes are wide open, and I'm trying to so he doesn't look at me. Luckily, it was nighttime, and because you know when you're tripping on mushrooms, like your eyes just fucking, they just go wide open, and it's like you're in another realm, right? So we get back home. I just took off. I ran into my bed. I pulled the blankets over me, and I was like, please don't fucking come and talk to me. And I just passed out. That was it. But that car ride home was probably 5 minutes, and it felt like a lifetime. I got so many bad trip stories on mushrooms that fucking I don't know how I kept doing them. But it was such, when you reflect on it, it was such a fun time at the same time.
Yeah.
And one time I don't condone this, but I was one of my good friends, he had a rock band. So they had their practice space. We were there all eating mushrooms, and I was sitting there, and for some reason I just started seeing all these rats everywhere. So I'm like, fuck this, I gotta get the fuck out of these rats are gonna eat me. So I jumped in my car, I started driving, and the car just lifted up, and the whole highway just became a sheet of ice, and the car was just gliding through the air. And I don't know how the fuck I made it back home, but I did, thank God. I made it home. And that was the last time I did mushrooms.
Oh my God. Yo, see, it's funny. I'm laughing off it because your trips remind me that that's a trip.
Mm.
Man, dude, that night we left my house. First, we got to go get weed. Straight down off of Smiley and Housing. I used to live in Baldwin Hills in LA. We have to go down to Smiley and Housing. That's down in Gearhood. Go get the weed. So drive down there. Fucking, we get to Smiley and Housing. Every fucking car down there is a 50 car. Every car that's driving by, every car that's parked on the street, every car that's in the driveway. We all three of us see it. Mind you, ask my boy Chris how he drove this night. I don't know how. We drove all over. We drove out to the beach, everything. I'll tell you in a second. But we let it get, when he goes and gets the weed, we come to the car, we take off, we go out to the beach. Hey, I'm talking low because my little one's still asleep upstairs. I don't go. And I just noticed I'm talking loud as hell. So we get out to the beach. We had Dockweiler Beach. Then it was a street called Sandpiper. It was above Dockweiler. We're blocked off now. Get up there. They put fences around. It's right under where the airplanes come in and take off from.
Oh shit.
Literally, you sitting there and see, this night it was raining. When it rains, they reverse the landing pattern in LA. When it's dry, you come in over the city. You come in over SoFi, along until when it's raining, you come in over the ocean.
Okay.
And you land facing SoFi, but you come in over the ocean. When it's dry, you take off over the ocean in LA. And so that night, it's raining. We go to Sandpiper, sitting there. All of a sudden, we see a all of these fucking crazy. It's funny. You didn't see anything. You just see all the looks like a fucking UFO. We're sitting there like, what the fuck? Get all of it. All three of us see it. We're just, nigga, what the? All of a sudden, this big ass through the clouds. It comes and lands over us. And we're like, ah. So we're off. It's one of those nights, right? And we on acid. And so all of a sudden, we hear behind us this truck. And this dude back there, these two white chicks, and this dude is back there behind us, and they're playing on this rock music behind us. So it just came out of nowhere. We're like, what? He comes and he comes down and there's a trash can right next to us. And he comes and he throws something in. My boy Chris rolls down the window, turns around and says, hey man, you got some weed? And we had our weed. He had it. He was like, yeah, I got some weed. And I don't even know why Chris was like, man, let's smoke. We have our bong here. We don't even know this dude. He came in and he pulls out this huge stack. And mind you, we going down off of Smiley and Hauser. We're getting some stress. We're getting some like some brown, whatever weed back then. It wasn't, how it was back then. Before weed got what it is now, weed sometimes came in bricks and all, especially here in LA. Weed came in bricks and you break it apart, whatever. It was some nasty shit, in the hood. So he comes and he breaks out this bag of some dope shit. So grab that, start smoking this stuff. I am lit off this shit. I'm sitting back there like, damn, in the backseat of the car, and Leonard Chris in the front in the back. I'm just like, fuck. All of a sudden, he's laughing. He takes 2 steps. Him, the girls, music disappears. He literally took 2 steps. He's laughing, walking off, takes 2 steps. Everything disappears. We all saw that shit. Turned around, looked at each other, and was like, what the fuck was that? And Leonard said, you high? I was like, nigga, I'm high as fuck. And my boy Chris was like, nigga, I'm high. I was like, what was that? Like, and my boy Larry said, a weed fairy. We all started dying. Like, well, listen, who the fuck came over, smoked us out, walked away? We were high for the rest of it. We still driving down the street. Nigga, you high? Yeah, nigga, I'm high. We didn't smoke any of our shit. We smoked his shit. But he took 2 steps and disappeared. Like the truck was way behind us, way like on the next, because back then the street would come down like this.
Yeah.
He was up on one thing like this. We were way down on the next one going down. But he had to walk all the way back up to it. Man, he took 2 steps and disappeared. The music stopped. We all looked at each other like, what just happened? Who is that? And we were like, man, did that just happen? You high, nigga? I'm high as fuck. Like, whoa, what the fuck just happened?
I'm gonna tell you an exclusive story that I've never told anybody about me and my wife. And because in Canada we can grow our own weed, right? So, we grow our own whatever. We got cameras all over the property, right? And we grow some pretty good weed right here in the yard, right? And one night, me and the wife, we smoked a lot, blunt after blunt. So I get this notification on my phone and I guess it was delayed. And there was these two people banging on the door, right? The front door. And I look at her, I'm like, yo, someone's trying to break into the house. She's gonna kill me for telling this story. I'm like, yo, someone's trying to break into the fucking house. She's like, what are we gonna do? I'm like, get the fucking guns. So we go, we grab the guns, and we go out into the hallway from the bedroom. We go over to her son's room. We're like, yo, were you outside? You hear anything? He's like, no. They're like, stay in the fucking room because someone's trying to get into the house right now. So we're going through the house and we're clearing the house, right? And we're like, okay, there's nobody in the fucking house. So I go out the front door, there's nobody outside. I go back and I look at the camera and I zoom in. And because it was nighttime, the camera switched to night vision, so the colors were different. And I'm like, yo, that was us coming in an hour ago. We're sitting here thinking someone's trying to fucking break into our home. We're fucking armed up, clearing the fucking house, ready to fucking go. And we're like, shit, that was us. She's gonna fucking kill me for telling that story. I've never told nobody that story. But
Oh, that's too much.
that just shows you the mistakes that could happen when you indulge a little too much. And
Yeah, man.
the trickery of night vision, because you know we were coming in and we were wearing colored clothes, but on night vision it just looked like all fucking black, black sweats and a black top, right? And the face was glowing, so you couldn't really see the details until you zoomed in. And I just remember like, all right, I'm gonna go back and check the footage, and I'm like, shit, that was us.
Like, who are these thugs trying to get in the house?
Because, you know, we keep things, we keep things within reach. You never know, home invasions are a big thing up here, right? So you always got to be alert, and you know, we always practice scenarios, right? You got to be ready.
Yeah,
And we were ready, but just we weren't expecting it was us.
yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I got a few straps here at the house, and I tell my lady all the time, like something goes down, she's like, I don't even want to touch it. I don't even like, yo, you're gonna have to fucking take that shit. And, he's like, no, I don't even want to take it. I don't even want to touch it. I'm like, oh, man. You gonna have me with, three straps to myself? Like,
But you know what though? My wife was the same. So she's Colombian, so she comes from the Escobar era, right? Where, guns were pretty much used for violence, terrorism type things. So when we met, I'm born and raised in Canada, we grow up with firearms, we grow up hunting, stuff like that. So she was always very hesitant to touch a gun because her
yeah,
experiences were different than our experiences, right? And man, all it takes is getting them out to a range one day and just letting them have some fun with it and learning about it, and then that kills that fear of it.
yeah, yeah. And that's what it's gonna take, man. I got a range down the block here that I need to take her to, and so that she can really get her hands on it and feel it, and like you said, not be scared of it, and know it
Yeah,
that it's something that, because she's scared of recoil, all that. I'm like, yeah, it's not that bad. I got some
no,
small straps and not like that crazy shit. I got a few nines and shit. The recoil on that shit, it's not like a shotgun. She's thinking every gun's like a shotgun or whatever. Like, nah.
yeah. I mean, even some of the higher caliber, like, 7.62s and 5.56, with
Yeah,
the modern day technology, really, and how they reduce recoil, it's really nothing to. I mean, shotguns will always be a shotgun. They're a
Yeah,
powerful machine. But,
yeah,
you gotta get them out there and just experience it to I guess educate them on how to handle it, um, and to get over that fear because you never know, man. And you don't want to be in a situation where you're relying on somebody and they're in fear of the tool to defend the home, right?
yeah,
And
exactly.
it's uh it's one of those things that I think I personally believe everybody should have the right to bear arms. Period. You should
Yeah,
have the right to defend yourself, bear arms, protect yourself, be able to go and get some food if you want. You know, a shotgun is it's a multi-tool. You can use it for defense, you can use it to go and get different types of animals. You know, you throw in some slugs, you can get some bear, some deer, you throw in some bird shot. You know, you get any type of animal with a shotgun, you defend your home with it. It's a multi-tool, right? So it's
exactly.
when they're taught it's a tool over something that's just used for violence, they see it in a different light.
Yeah, yeah. I could feel that. Yeah, your lady's Colombian, my lady's Filipino. She's from the
Okay.
Philippines. She didn't get here till she was 18 or no, 16. So, she's under the same way. Even down the dogs over there, they don't have they have guard dogs and that's it.
Yeah.
So she was like, when we had dogs, she was like, oh, don't really, don't even talk to them, don't even touch. But it's like, yeah, it's our dogs. She's like, yeah, the dogs are in the backyard. They're fucking killers. You don't go back there with them, and that's what dogs are.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she's like, we don't have pets like that in the Philippines. So it's a whole total different. The culture different is totally different when you with somebody from a different country that has those different ways of living and everything.
Yeah, and like even going back to I remember she telling me stories when Escobar bombed one of the financial districts in Bogota. And she's like, I was out with my mom on the next block over. Like, if it was another 10 minutes, we would have been over there and I would have been done. I was like, okay, I understand. I understand, it's a different perspective, right?
Yeah, yeah. A more real perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of people over here that they have a gun just because that's the only way that they can defend themselves. And I
Yeah,
came from the literally, to put it in layman's terms, I came from the fisticuffs era.
yeah,
We can get them down right here. We can go. Let's go right here, me and you. Let's go. We don't need all that gun shit. We don't need all the weapon shit. We just go like this. And we respectfully, the person that wins respectfully wins, the person that loses respectfully loses, and all that shit. And all this shit that nowadays is just, I'll shoot you. You can be across the street. Like, you don't feel shit. You
yeah.
know, you don't even. That's why they can do that shit because they don't feel the immediate repercussions. Like stabbing somebody versus shooting somebody is a whole totally different thing.
I was just about
Because
to say
stabbing,
that, yeah.
you feel that knife go in. You feel that, if you're the person that's stabbing, you feel all that, you know. So that's a whole totally different thing than pop, 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 shooting from across the street or even shooting close range. It's a whole totally different shit, you know.
Yeah,
So
you're not emotionally connected to that
moment,
we'll call it transaction,
yeah, there you go.
right?
Yeah,
It's a lot easier to squeeze a trigger.
yeah,
And it's funny because we were talking about this the other day. My parents were here visiting, they staying with us. And my mom grew up very poor and they grew up raising their own animals. And she was like, if you were to raise an animal, would you be able to slaughter it? I was like, I don't think I could. Because at that point you've watched it grow up and you've kind of formulated a bond with it. I wouldn't be able to chop its head off. But meanwhile, I could go out into the bush and just shoot an animal and have no emotional attachment to it. But when it comes to like the way they do it with slaughtering the animals, like a pig, they'll cut the throat, and chickens, they'll just take it live, chop the head off. I'm like, I don't think I could do that.
Because you okay, did you grow up with pets?
Yeah, yeah.
There you go. You grew up with pets. You grew up with attachments to animals. Your mom probably grew up from the moment that she grew up until, whenever. There was always this thing of, you can get close, but don't get too close because we're going to eat
Mm-hmm.
them one day. And so they know it. It's expected. It's not. See, you don't expect that because you have emotional attachments to an animal. So you would never expect or even think of eating that animal. Where she was from day one, hey, get the fuck. We're gonna eat that motherfucker one day, So it's so that's why it's a whole different thing. It's kind of what you're conditioned to, you know.
Yeah,
And we were conditioned in a whole different way, and to where we have feelings for that thing. Where, like my wife said, dog, that's a fucking guard dog. He stays outside. It's raining, but he's still outside. He never comes inside, you know.
yep.
And we don't even go out there with him because he's a killer.
Yeah, your
That's
dog
his job.
your dog is not a pet, it's a tool to protect your home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's his job, so that's the expectation behind it. So all this, we love our dog. And she's like, how do you, she had to like be around my pets a lot because I had dog, cats, all that. It was just like, okay, you know, but until that point, she never really had dogs like that. Especially her parents get over here, the last thing they need is a dog. They trying to survive. They got three girls. That they probably here from the Philippines, so they're not trying to have. It takes another mouth to feed and all that shit. They try to get these girls going. So she didn't have pets like that. You know. Then she meets me, and it's like a pet person. You know.
Were you born in Puerto Rico, or were you born in the United States? And I know Puerto Rico is part of the United States, but I look
Yeah,
at it as a different entity,
the
right?
island. Yeah, no, we all refer to it, the island versus,
Yeah.
the mainland. And no, my mom is the one that was born over there. My whole
Okay.
family's my grandfather, aunts, uncles, they all over there still. My mom is the one that's still here. I don't even think my aunt and uncle that was in NY, I think they bounced already. And the ones that was in Philly went back too. So everybody's back in the island. It's my mom out here in Cali with me, still, me and my sister.
Because I would imagine it's
Still.
somewhat of the same in Puerto Rico as the Philippines or say Colombia, where a lot of people they raise their own chickens and stuff like that, and um, animals are more of a use as opposed to a bond.
It's crazy we're talking about this. The other night, we're at a restaurant and we're celebrating my nephew's senior night. And we have a bunch of family there. We're all about food. We get on chicken feet. And, you eat chicken feet and all, yeah. Reasons why and all. And, I said, well, because most everybody's Filipino. It was
Yeah.
my Filipino, my white nephew. And then so, like, yeah, but you got to understand, in the Philippines, you don't waste anything.
No.
One, you don't get chicken in the Philippines like that. Chicken was reserved for people with money in the Philippines. You ate fish and some beef sometimes because they got carabao and all that, but you don't eat chicken like that in the Philippines. Back when my lady was there in the 80s, you don't get that shit. So if you do, you eating everything.
Yeah.
You're gonna make sure that you don't waste anything. And I told myself that's how most other countries are. They don't
Yeah.
have the
Yeah.
indulgencies that we have here in America where we can just throw shit out. When they get something, they use every fucking piece of that shit. So yeah, a lot of meat, chicken feet, you know. That so in the Puerto Rico, same way, yeah. Chicken feet, oh shit, they
Yeah.
eat everything. The tongue, lengua, they'll eat the whole fucking thing because it's what it is. They'll eat the brains, all that shit, because that's what
We
But
have
yeah,
um we have bags of chicken feet in the freezer because the wife uses it for soup.
see,
So yeah, when she makes the chicken soup, she'll throw the legs and the feet in there, and that's what she uses for the flavor. However, I did not know you're supposed to cut the nails off. So one time I made the fucking soup with the chicken feet and I didn't cut the nails off. And sitting here eating the soup after you took the feet out, and what fucking pops in the roof of your mouth? Fucking chicken nail.
and that was the other thing. My what she was saying, it's like that's why I don't eat it because her two sisters. They're like, that's why we don't eat it because all I can think of is them walking around on their feet. And you got and then my wife is like, yeah, it's got the nails, so it's that same thing right there, it's like
Yeah.
that's the one reason that they're just so against that, but the other ones at the table is like, oh yeah, I'll eat it, whatever, yeah, I'll eat it.
Well, even if you look at like somewhere like Argentina, like they'll take the intestines of the cow and they'll braid it and they'll make it all fancy and they'll fucking barbecue that up and they'll eat that.
Exactly.
Or like
Or
have you ever had black sausage or blood sausage?
eat it, yeah.
See my wife didn't
It-
tell me about this. So she's like she came home from she went to a Colombian store, came home with the sausage. She's like, oh, it's called black sausage. I'm like, all right, so I'm eating it. I'm like, oh, what's in it? She's like, pig's blood. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, it's filled with pig's blood. I'm like, say if I told you that before you ate it, you wouldn't have eaten it.
yeah, there's a Filipino dish, pig's blood, name of it, you know. We got someplace they're serving it, and all the time, what's that? What's I was like, what's that? At it, and I was like, wait, what? She was like, yeah, is that one that your family talks about, the pig's blood? She was like, yeah. It's like, yeah, no. Like, no, I don't need that either, But yeah,
But
there's a lot of people eating
but
it,
you see, some countries when they make it, they use a good ratio of blood.
Yeah.
Whereas I've had blood sausage from Argentina, and it's like heavy on the blood. Like as you're eating it, you get that texture, and it's fucking it. Ah, man, it's honestly, I don't like to say things are gross because to each their own. But for me, that shit was gross.
Oh my God. Can't even imagine, nah.
And
That's
we were in Colombia one time, and we went to this all you could eat like Brazilian style all you could eat thing. So each time they come around to the table, they serve you different cuts, right? And we've eaten, my family they're from Newfoundland, so they're East Coast Canadian, and they'll eat things like rabbit brain, stuff like that. Me, no, I'm not eating brains. I'm good with that. I'm good. I won't eat the tongues or whatever, but I'm trying all these different cuts, right? And I'm eating this cut of beef, and the texture is real weird. And I spit it back out because I couldn't handle the texture. I'm like, what the fuck is this? She's like, it's the udder. I'm like, what do you mean it's the udder? She's like, you know the thing that they get the milk from? I'm like, I know what an udder is. Why am I eating it? She's like, because we eat everything here. I'm like, fair enough, but I can't do it.
Ah, man. See, those are those things that I don't know if I'll say this. I traveled all over the world. He told me, tell you this. He said, whatever you do, I don't care what they're eating. There are people there that are eating it every day, living off of it, not dying. You never know. Because my dad is known for eating fucking cockroaches and ants and
Yeah,
kind of crazy shit from when he's over in Asia and all these other countries and all this shit. And I'm just like, he's like, yo, I'm telling you right now, don't look at that. He said the number one thing is a lot of people in that country that eats it every day and ain't nobody dying. You
yeah.
never know what you're gonna like. And uh, so, like my wife does balut. Balut is a food that they had on Fear Factor.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's a Filipino dish that it's an egg, and inside is duck half. So you're catching that embryo just as it's going into duck form right before it.
I was just about to say I kind of know where you're going with this one.
And it has all the juices in there and everything. And you have to get it, cut it open, suck the juices out, get some, salt, whatever, and soy, put it in there and eat it out and everything. And son doing it, I got pictures of me and my son doing it and everything because I even told my son, man, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, now, is it something that I really loved? No, but my wife taught me how to eat it without yuck, and all
Yeah,
that. So it wasn't that bad, you know. Would I eat it every day? Nah, it's something that they grew up eating.
yeah,
So they developed a taste for it, Was it like, oh my God, I mean, when you break it open, you're looking at the thing, it's like, holy fuck, you know, like, what am I about to eat? Are you kidding me? So there's these moments of, but at the same time, right, eat it. You never know. You might like it.
it's like we get so something we do is we get a lot of our meat from local farms, right? I don't like to get my meat from the grocery stores, especially in Canada. It's very questionable what you're getting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the lab grown synthetic fake shit going on up here.
That's what they're starting to do here right now.
And
Yeah.
so my wife, she gets a lot of the chickens and eggs from a guy she works with, actually. He's got his own farm. So we get our eggs, and this is something that my first time going to Colombia, you go to the grocery store or you go to the market and you see the eggs, they're sitting in the aisle and they're not in the
Oh,
refrigerator,
yep.
right?
They're not in the refrigerator. Yep. Yep. They sit out.
And I'm
Exactly.
like, I'm like, what? Why are they not in the refrigerator? She's like, because
Exactly.
that's how you eat eggs. That's how you eat fresh eggs. They don't need to go in the
Yep.
refrigerator. They're good for like a month. I'm like, all right,
Neither
so
does milk. Neither does
yeah,
milk.
exactly, yeah.
hmm In
And
France, same way. Yep.
so we got 12 chickens on the way, and she sent me this video of these little baby chickens, and she's like, these are gonna be our chickens in a few months. I'm like, well, I didn't want to see that because now I'm seeing these little baby chickens, and I'm like, now I'm gonna be eating those guys. She's like, yeah. I'm like, I'm gonna have to delete this video and forget I ever seen it.
He's like, no, not Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a second, we're gonna eat Tom tonight? Nah, wait a second.
It's like we had a cat, right? And rest in peace to Skyline. He was a great cat. And I was always like, because he was sick for a long time. I was like, you know what? Before I would go and spend, $500-$600 to put him down, I'll just put a bullet in him.
Yeah.
And the time came, and I'm like, I can't do it. Can't fucking do it, man. Like, even though I know it would probably be a better ending than going to the vet and the stress, getting the needles put in him, watching him go to sleep, I'm like, I can't do it.
So,
I just can't. I had a fucking tear coming down my eye. I'm like, I can't kill him. Can't do it. So I wouldn't be a good farmer.
man, I've had a Doberman that I had from pup, like super puppy, all the way up. We had just got him just weeks after booking the mom. So he was young. And when he died, I think it was like maybe 12 years later or something, 13, 14 years later, something like that. And one day he's in my parents' room. I'm in the other room and I hear, and I'm like, what the f-? I go in my parents' room. My father's on the ground trying to give him CPR. Mom is like going crazy. And my dad looked up and he's like, man. We carried him into the other room. I just had to sleep in that room that night. Like, my parents were like, go to sleep. I was like, can't. I
Yeah.
can't. Like I gotta sleep here with him. You know. It was like, and mind you, my mom had a Doberman, Annie. Welsh Corgi Annie was the one that was like super close to me, ran behind me, did everything with me. Only been with Annie for maybe at that point 4 years. Him, that dog, he was my that was my dog. That was everything. You know, he ran behind my parents and everything. Never ran behind me, but he was still my ever like ever. He would play, roll around, do all this shit. It was my dog, man. So, man, that hurt. That hurt. And so from that point on, when Annie to get put down, I took her to the vet, put her down and everything, because at that point, disconnect. I
Yeah.
had the love, but I had the disconnect. He was the one that disconnected me. Like when he died, I can never go through this again. No, never.
It's
So
hard. It's hard to lose. You know what? Sometimes I find it's harder to lose an animal more than a person, because with an animal, you just have that unconditional loyalty,
mhm,
right?
yeah.
And you form such a bond with these, and honestly, it could be any animal really. Like we got a big aquarium, and we got some what are they called? Plecos. They're like this fucking big. And you go to the aquarium, and they'll interact with you.
Mhm.
And you don't realize you're forming bonds with these animals without any form of communication. And there's something with it where it's just an unconditional bond and loyalty when it comes to animals that makes it so much harder. Whereas with humans, unless it's something tragic, a fatal accident or something that, shouldn't have fucking happened, most scenarios, it's, you know, old age and you kind of expect it, it's coming, or you made your choice of the lifestyle you're living and, you know, you were the victim of your consequences. You know, in most cases, it's a lot harder to deal with the death of a pet, so to say.
Yeah. You know, well, I shouldn't say I, because it was really my stepfather. He's the one who really had all and everything. Uh, Snakes was, you know, you know, fish, all that. And like you said, with the fish, you walk in the door, and once you were connected with that fish,
Yeah.
when you walk by that tank, they'll swim from one side to the next with you,
Yep.
walking by, you know, because they're just so connected with you.
Yeah.
And I really do think that things like that, well as like words and all, it allows you to connect with things and people in different fashion. Then you can translate that into relationships out there, people,
Yeah.
you know, in different way, in deeper ways. You know, people who haven't had pets, people have had different. It's like people who have had kids and people who haven't,
Yeah.
you know. And so because there's that connection that you give to this being that's not human, and you relinquish yourself to this being that people who don't have pet, like my wife, dog, you know,
Yeah.
they really don't understand. So that that has a kind of butterfly effect in their relationships with people out there,
Yeah.
in different little nuances, you know.
It's
So
it's hard, especially in these modern day times, to establish that genuine connection with people
yeah.
because everybody is so fucking divided.
Mhm.
And you know, this is one thing that I really appreciate about the cigar community, right? Because you could be on the opposite spectrum of political beliefs, cultural upbringing, but when you step into the lounge, everybody relates and they find that common bond, right? And that's something that we're severely lacking in humanity outside of, say, those four walls, is finding that common ground where if you have these conversations like we're having right now, you're gonna find that you have a lot more in common with your fellow citizen than you don't have in common. And everybody's afraid to have those conversations because let's just say if you and me walk by on the street, we probably wouldn't even say what up to each other.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
And that's something that I learned, you know, traveling around the world, and you see the way other cultures, you know, I remember my first time in Colombia, you know, my wife saying good morning, having conversation with people. I'm like, you know them? She's like, not at all. I'm like, so, you know, why are you talking to
Puerto
them?
Rico,
Right? She's like, because that's just what you do. You say good morning to everybody, good afternoon, good evening. I'm like, huh.
New York, you know, it's
Yeah.
crazy. You know, like California is so, I'm over here, you're over there, don't talk. And then you go out to New York and you leave the bodega. By the time you get home, you get into your stoop and, hey, let me get some of the Oreos. What are you talking about? Oh, someone such told me you had Oreos. You
Yeah.
know, like, what the fuck? You know? So it's just, it just happens. You know, people are just so connected and everything. And there's just certain areas, like you said, that people are just, you know, I think that a lot of societies have been built upon fear.
Mm-hmm.
You know, first thing they get is a defense. You know,
Yep.
they have to have some type of military built up before they can call them and everything.
Uh, I
That's
think
built upon.
everybody's got this false perspective of people based upon the media, we'll say.
Yeah.
And I've always said it, black people are thugs, and Spanish are the cartels, and the white people are the racists, and the Muslims are the terrorists. And it's like everybody's got this perspective of each race, so to say.
Hmm.
So when they step out into the world, they view people based upon this perspective that's been embedded in their brain. But
Exactly.
it's not the case,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know?
Especially with me growing up, and my dad traveled all over the world, being abrasive of everything. When I got to going on tours,
Yeah,
going to Missouri, going to Arkansas, down to Alabama, going to Minnesota, places that the average person doesn't go because they don't go into Idaho, because there's nothing person to attract to things like that. And so when I got there to these places, I noticed how much more real the people were in those places.
yeah,
And being able to, what it is, it's easier to connect in places like that. You know, what I felt, what I saw out there, it was very easy to connect because if you were in that place and they didn't know who you were, everybody's just whatever. There's no hierarchy
hmm
in these places, in other words. There's no expectation of, you have this, you're supposed to be there or whatever. Everybody's kind of at the same level. And so when they talk to you or it's all just relatable stuff. You guys talk about real stuff. You don't talk about all the stuff that you would talk about in a big city. You
yeah,
know, the the last thing they're going to talk about is money or what brands and all this other stuff and what's happening in the world of entertainment and rap or whatever. So the last things that they're going to be talking about, they're going to be talking about real stuff that everybody else talks and everybody else deals with,
yep,
you know. And that's when you start seeing how similar you really are. But you wouldn't be able to see these things unless you actually, one, went into these situations, and two, were had your guard down. We're in fear. We're trying to be the hard guy in the room. We're trying to be the dopest person. You're just trying to chill and talk to people. When you're gonna get the real shit. But when you walk in the room and you got all your shit on and you got the dopest this and that, and you're sitting in the corner and people and it's just it's too much.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
too much. And therefore, yes, the barrier's built up. Now it's something to point at, you know. But if you really want the real of somebody, go in there with in t-shirt, jeans on, fucking hat, whatever, and just talk about some real shit. You'll see how normal everybody is and how you can actually really connect with people. And then you know what? Might be able to change some minds. But you
yep.
won't be able to change some minds forcing your shit down their fucking throat. You know, that's just my observation.
It's building through common bonds and experiences, and at the end of the day, I always say this: we all got the same ending.
Yeah.
We're gonna end up in ashes, or we're gonna end up buried in the ground. That's it. That's the end. We all doesn't matter how much money you got, doesn't matter what you did in your life. We all got the same ending. And nobody is above nobody in this world.
The same at the end of the day, end of the life, at the end of the lights out time, when it's time to come. And it it's not because you have this amount of money, that moment is going to be that much. It won't. It's going to be the same moment. And half of the people out there are going to be in fear at that moment.
Yep.
You
And
know,
that's why you gotta you gotta live your life, and you gotta respect other people's ways of life, and don't be a fucking asshole to everybody.
yeah, man.
You know
You
what I
get to
mean?
know, like I said, people are the same, man. That's what you get to know.
Yeah, yeah. We all gotta eat to survive. We all gotta, you cut us, we all bleed the same color. We all want to love and be loved. We all want to enjoy our life without being restricted and told what to do. And as long as you're not harming nobody and you're not touching no kids, to each their own.
Exactly. I
And
don't care what people do. Do you? Because I don't want people stopping me and doing anything that I would want to do.
yeah.
I totally respect it. You know, it's
And on that note, my bottle is bone dry. And I always say this, man, I appreciate your time, because time is a currency that's the most valuable because you don't get it back. So I appreciate your time to sit down and have this conversation. And I look forward to what's coming next from you. And I'm a huge hip hop head, man. So, and I got to give a big shout out to Mikey G, Chris G, straight from the Underground Radio, because that's how I came across you. So, huge shout out to those guys and these platforms that are really um, shining the light on what we call now the underground artist, because unfortunately we live in a time where hip hop has become Hollywoodized, I'll call it.
Mhm.
And a lot of the veterans that have been around forever are now considered underground.
Yep.
And grateful for the Block 105, straight from the Underground Radio, stations like that are still taking the time to highlight people like yourself and Lefty Pacino, and still putting out Ty Nitty and Big Twins and Mobb Deep, and Nas and Wu Tang, still playing those guys that have been around forever.
You
And
go.
I appreciate your time to sit down and have this conversation, and we'll do some more work together. And on that note, man, I'm all out of my cigar. My bottle's done, and you
I'd
know,
like to give a one big shout out. Start off with Lefty Pacino because that was how it all started. I got to know him, and he was the one that hooked me up with G, hooked me up with Chris G. All of them, big respect, big ups to them, man. I mean, the legend, Chris G. You
yeah,
know, Mikey out there pushing it every day. Doing his thing, and I love the way that they run their business out there. Go follow them if you don't know. Shout out to you, Cigar Talk. Thank you for everything, having me on, and my people that I'm working with. Life out there, look out for his EP that we're going to be coming with, the Iron Heel. New album out with Jism Definition right now that just came out 3 days ago. This now Dreamscape, Lucid Dreamscape album. Look for that. Is my definition in Hardmoney. And then I got an EP coming out right now in a few weeks or so, in about a month or so, with Black Silver. And that one,
okay,
the Void Were Inhibited. Gonna be off the chain. Those first two singles, look for In a Nutshell out there, and Wolf. Those two singles are banging and they're hitting everywhere right now. Just Thank you to you guys for having me out there and be looking out for Hard Money. Hard Money everywhere, at Watch Hard Money.
And Black Silver in a nutshell, that was the track that paid tribute to Prodigy, right?
Yeah, that's it.
And
Drop that.
Forever P, man. That's my number one artist right there. And
Respect out to P, respect out to Big Twins. That's my boys too.
yeah,
Big Twins. That's my man out here, but in LA.
Twins is a real one, man. He hooked me up with
Yeah.
the plug on the intro for the show, eh?
Yeah, he's super real, super real.
Yeah.
My boy Jism hooked me up with him, met him, and he was from day one been super real with me. So.
And shout out to Loretta, Infamous Sis. Check her out on Instagram at Infamous Sis.
There you
go. Prodigy sister from his Long Island days, and we had her on the podcast, and that was a fucking honor to be able to share part of Prodigy's story with everybody, and be a part of that. And it was a privilege and it was an honor. So make sure everybody heads over, check out and follow Infamous Sis, show her some love, and get behind her movement as well, because she's out there just keeping that Prodigy legacy alive.
It's not respect.
And on that note, we're out of here on YouTube. Appreciate you, man.
Out. Appreciate you. Appreciate people who tuned in. Appreciate your time.
All right, man. Peace.
Peace.
I want to send a special shout out, Cigar Talk Toronto. Special shout out to Croatian Mafia Cigars. It's for the gangster in you, nigga. It's for the gangsters. DJ Mikey G. Put some cut on that dope. Lefty Pacino. Take it personal. Take it personal. Click, clack the beam. Take it personal. I spit the caffeine. Take it personal. Feel what I mean? The 30R6 to M16s. We got them ruggin'. I'm your favorite uncle. I'm the alcoholic street niggas with the guns and the duffel. I'm the one that used to smoke the cigar and whip the truffle. The one that Granny said always started trouble. The backcourt shot a triple-double. Coach kicked me out the gym cause the gun was bigger than the muscle. Now let me introduce you to the hustle. I whip the white till it locked and snip the residue above my knuckles. The epitome of street scuffle. I hit him hard with the banger, I was trying to make the belt buckle. I hit the corner and I make it bubble. What's in the pocket of my goose will make your feathers ruffle. I don't trust you, make the gauge bust you. We keep the circle tight, you just another square if we don't discuss you. Take it personal. Click, clack the beam. Take it personal. I spit the caffeine. Take it personal. Feel what I mean? The 30R6 to M16s. We gotta plug in. Take it personal. Click, clack the beam. Take it personal. I spit the caffeine. Take it personal. Feel what I mean? The 30R6 to M16s. We gotta get pillage through your village. Leave my spillage on your mistress. Attacking everything, you go on the hit list. Burn the evidence, witness. Told the lawyer eat the case with the biscuit. Looked the judge in the face and told him stick it. Smacked the plaintiff in the face and told him fix it. Tapped the Henny on the bottom, then we lift it. Fully equipped, the blue beamer and it's kitted. Bend the corner 730, then we hit him. The bars leave a bad taste, so I spit them. Machete 50-50 sharp, so I split them. The black expedition put me in position. Focus on the mission, full tunnel vision. Every verse calculated, spoken with conviction. My condition is to grind every day by tradition. Built it from the dirt, self-made composition. Competition for using every breath is ammunition.